Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Millennial Money. My name's Lauren and I work for an online personal finance website called Money to the Masses. And we cover a host of investing and personal finance topics over on our website moneytothemasses.com. In this week's video, I'm going to be talking about overdrafts and what is an overdraft and how does it work. An overdraft is a way for you to borrow money through your current account with your bank. So when you go to open a bank account, you may be asked if you want an overdraft. Now, a bank will typically give you an overdraft, which is an amount of money that if you spent more than what you had in your bank account, then you can borrow money from the bank to cover the costs. So some banks offer you an authorized overdraft. So an authorized overdraft is something that is pre-agreed with the bank. So if you open up your bank account and they ask you if you want an overdraft of say £500 and you accept, this is then classified as an authorized overdraft because it has been agreed and authorized by your bank. An unauthorized overdraft is something that hasn't been agreed by your bank. So for example, in one of my accounts, I don't have an overdraft. So if I then didn't have enough money in my bank account and I overspent, then the money would go into what's called an unauthorized overdraft because I've borrowed money from the bank, but it wasn't pre-authorized by the bank. So that's called an unauthorized overdraft. Now, with an authorized overdraft, the bank sometimes can give you a set amount which is interest free. So for example, I used to have a £500 overdraft and the first £250 of the authorised overdraft was interest free. So I knew I could spend up to £250 with the bank, which I wouldn't be charged any interest on, and I could just pay it back. A bit similar to a 0% purchase credit card. And then if I went over the first £250, so the £250 to £500, that was charged interest, so I'll be charged a higher interest rate. Now, a problem with an overdraft is that once you are in an overdraft, particularly so if the overdraft is on an account where you get paid your salary into, because when the salary is paid in each month, it will automatically clear the overdraft. So it's really easy to get into a cycle of being stuck in your overdraft each month. I do cover this in another Millennial Money video on how to clear your overdraft if you do find yourself in this situation. Overdrafts can be quite useful. For example, if you had one on a bills account and you didn't allow for enough money for all your bills to come out, if one of your bills happened to be more expensive one month, if you had an authorised overdraft, it could cover the shortfall. But like I said previously, an overdraft can be quite difficult because once you get into the cycle of being stuck in your overdraft, it is really quite difficult to get out of your overdraft. So interest on an overdraft is typically quite high and it ranges from around 19 to 40%, which is something that you need to be aware of if you are charged interest on your overdraft, particularly so if you keep falling into your overdraft each month and then you are just paying fees on the overdraft and you aren't actually clearing the overdraft off. So do you need an overdraft? An overdraft could be a great option for short-term borrowing potentially if you're using it in your current account. However, as previously mentioned, it can be very difficult to break the cycle of being in an overdraft once you are in an overdraft. So there are potential other ways of borrowing, such as short-term loans or having 0% purchase credit card. So it is advisable to look into those. However, having an overdraft could help you for short-term borrowing as long as you are able to pay it off and you're aware of the cycle of getting stuck into an overdraft. And like I said previously, if this is something that you're struggling with and you need to try and get out of your overdraft, then be sure to check out my video on how to clear your overdraft and how to manage your money better each month so that you aren't paying the high interest rate fees. That's it for this week's Millennial Money video. If you do have any questions, email me, Lauren@moneytothemasses.com. Thanks for watching.